Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Tareen. Hi, Jackie. How are you, ladies? Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Nish. How are you? All right. Well, it is officially 10 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and get started because it's 10 o'clock, and I like to be on time. And since this is about time blocking, I've got to be on time, right? So for those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much for joining tonight's Scope. My name is Tori Easterlin. I'm formerly Tori Williams, still getting used to saying that. I am known on all of your social media networks as Real Estate Tori, hashtag Real Estate Tori, T-O-R-I. If you search that hashtag anywhere, you'll be able to find me. And I'm pretty much everywhere. LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram. I'm Real Estate Tori, Twitter. Been on social media for a while. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the states of Georgia and Florida, and I have offices in Atlanta, Georgia, and Miami Beach, Florida. In Atlanta, I work for Keller Williams Realty, and in Florida, I'm affiliated with, thank you so much for inviting your followers and the hearts. In Florida, I'm with Luxury Living Realty. They're a luxury firm, and they sell pretty much only on Fisher Island. So that's what I do in Florida. My job here on social media, I'm also a licensed real estate instructor, so I do have credentials to be teaching. A lot of people do not. But yeah, so here on social media, my job, my part-time job at night, I do sell real estate full-time during the day, but my part-time job is helping other real estate professionals maneuver their way around the business. I've been in the business for 10.5 years, so I have tried a whole lot of stuff that didn't work. I've done a lot of trial and error, so I try to catch people before they make the same mistakes as I do. And so that's what I'm here doing. I've written an ebook, and I've got some videos out there on YouTube, some free stuff. So nothing heavy duty just yet, but yeah, so that's who I am. Thank you so much for joining. If you are joining tonight and you are not in the real estate business, that's totally okay. You should still get something from this scope because it's pretty much for anyone who's responsible for making their own schedule. So self-employed individuals, individuals with kids, multiple jobs, and things of that nature. For the ladies who have been on my scope before, I'm doing this scope again because I got asked again about it, so I figured I would do it. It's something that I consider myself an expert in, and also I will be teaching time blocking in my office in a mastermind group next month. So I figure I will keep teaching it on Periscope and keep doing it until I know it. Like I should know it by November 17th, right? Okay, so I prepared notes, and most of the time when I scope, I try not to look at my notes like in the presidential debate, and I try not to look like I'm reading, but you know, it's okay, I have notes, so if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go for my notes on what I want to talk about tonight. So just some rules of engagement for those who are new to Periscope, new to me, and are watching this on the replay possibly. That I'll send out later. So one, if I'm using real estate lingo or Keller Williams lingo that you don't understand, raise your hand, ask me what the heck I'm talking about. So if I start talking in bold laws or just any at Keller Williams we talk our own language. So if I say something that it sounds like you're supposed to know what it means but you don't, let me know. If this is your first time on Periscope, raise your hand if you don't know what's going on. If you have questions about Periscope, you can ask me questions about Periscope. I'm not an expert. I have been on Periscope since they came out, but I just started back scoping, but I should be able to answer general questions about Periscopes. If it's your first time here, there are trolls. So trolls are people with no lives who come to the live broadcast and they say bad things. So if you see that, don't be alarmed. It's not my friend. I'm not affiliated with them. Hello, Bama Peach Realtor. So yeah, those are trolls. You can block them yourself and I'll try to catch them. And that's it. So if you're ready for me to get started, throw up an emoji. Or maybe a 1. Let's do a 1 if you're ready for me to get started. That's easier. Welcome, 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 people who just tuned in. All right. All right. Thank you, ladies. So let's get started. So first, I want to talk about exactly what time blocking is. And actually, I'll talk about, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. So no, I'm going to do who needs to know about time blocking. So right here, I've already said it's not just for real estate agents. It's for self-employed individuals. If you have multiple jobs, time blocking is good. If you're a working mom like myself, I'm expecting my 4th child. So timing and everything is critical. So working moms and anyone who is responsible for managing his or her own schedule. So even if you have a job, if you have to manage your schedule, or you know, like if you're just not micromanaging, you need to figure out what to do with your time. So this is good information for anyone, even if you're not in real estate. So for example, hey Carlotta, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So, you know, have you ever, if you're in real estate, have you ever at 10 o'clock at night, or even not in real estate, at 10 o'clock at night, you're in business for yourself or whatnot, and you realize at 10 o'clock at night that you forgot to call somebody very important about a check, about money, about business, about anything. Thank you so much for the hearts and for sharing out the scope. So if you've ever, like in the middle of the night, realized that you've forgotten to, just like, dang, I forgot to call that customer, they're going to think I'm a loser. They're going to think I'm not professional. But I'm going to try to clean it up. So I'm going to do what? Send an email, right? If you've ever had that happen, then the information we're going to cover tonight is totally for you. This is a big one for me right here. Hi, Miss Sophia. Thank you so much for joining. This is a big one for me. If you have ever felt guilty for not being able to accept someone's invitation to something. Anybody ever have that happen? So someone wants you to go to coffee, they want you to go to lunch, they want you to go to something, and you can't make it. You may not even know why. You just know, like, I know my schedule's a little tight this weekend, I can't make it. That's a big one for me. Before I started time blocking, it was big for me to tell people I could not make it to something. And when you're self-employed, whether you're an Instagram self-employed person or whether you are a realtor or whatever, people don't think that you work. They call you in the middle of the day and they say, "What are you doing?" You're like, working, right? So yeah, if you've had to feel guilty for not being able to accept someone's invitation to something, then this is definitely for you, because that's my big one with time blocking. They don't. I got a Snapchat up, and I'm like, people are like, oh yeah, one of my family members called and said they're on the way to my house. Yeah, I work from home sometime, but I'm working, so no, and I'm at the office. If anyone in the family needs, a ride from somewhere, they call and ask me, because I don't have a clock to punch, so I don't know. But if you have those issues of feeling guilty for telling people that you can't make it to an engagement, this is definitely for you. That was my whole purpose for starting time blocking several years ago. Also, if you've ever missed an event, I used to miss events. My husband, sorry. If you've ever missed an event, or if you've ever scheduled something where something else belongs. So we've all done that, right? So that's just to give you just summing up who this is for. This is for anybody who's ever had any of those issues, whether you are in real estate or not. So at this point, if you're not in real estate and you think that someone may have this issue, go ahead and share the broadcast out to the right. You can share the broadcast by tapping on the little man in the bottom right corner. Also, if you double tap the screen, you can give me hearts, and that lets me know that you're there, that you're listening, that I'm making sense. All right. So now we can go on to, thank you so much. So now we can go on to time blocking. If you came into the scope late, my name is Tori Williams. I'm a full-time licensed real estate broker in Atlanta, Georgia, and Miami Beach, Florida. My job on social media is helping other real estate professionals maneuver their way through the real estate business through ebooks, webinars, periscopes like tonight. And so, yeah, so tonight we're talking about time blocking, which is a technique that I use to keep my life stress-free. So what is a time block? So most people are just like, oh, you're scheduling your schedule. It is my schedule, but time blocking is totally different from writing out a schedule, in my opinion. When you write out a schedule, you normally go 9:30. Actually, you don't write that you get to the office. You're just like work 9 to 5, or it's more of a list, work, lunch at a certain time. I don't do a set schedule. Oh, meeting at 10:15. I don't do a set schedule, so but I don't know. I can't explain exactly how you do a schedule, but it's more of a list versus a block. So time blocking is where you block out a specific period of time for any given task. So if you're in sales, like me, you have to generate business, right? So instead of me saying call Margie, call Tori, call Carlotta, on my block, it's just a huge block of time, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. It's a huge block of time that is totally dedicated just to contacting new customers for new business. Same thing, when you're making a schedule, you put on the schedule at 10:30, call Carl back. Well, on my schedule, there is an entire block that is dedicated to returning phone calls. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, do some hearts or an emoji or something, if that makes sense, the difference between a schedule and a time block. All right, thanks so much. So yeah, so that's what that is. And I say that in order to have a block, it needs to be a minimum of 30 minutes. If you're doing blocks, or if you think you're doing blocks in increments of less than 30 minutes, then you're actually just writing a schedule. That's not blocking out time, because you really can't fully devote your attention to something for under 30 minutes. I think that a block, and this is my rule, a block is at minimum 30 minutes. I think that it really should be an hour. But for example, if you block out time to be on social media, 30 minutes is a good block for people who are not social media, that's not their full-time job. A 30-minute block would be something that I would be okay with. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Celise. Is it Celise? Hi, Celise Walker. Does anyone have any questions about time blocking versus scheduling, and who time blocking is for? If not, we're going to go on to the next topic, which is thank you for the hearts, which is, when do you time block? So when do you time block? I've got tonight, Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Sunday night at 10 o'clock is what I call nighttime ritual time. If you've read the book, 7 Levels of Communication, I think he does it Sunday nights at 10. But you want to do your schedule Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. The day is gone, the weekend is gone, you're relaxed, hopefully, you're getting prepared for the upcoming week, you're getting your mind right, if you're self-employed, you think, yep, 7 Levels of Communication, I think he does a 10 o'clock Sunday night rituals. Now, in addition to 10 o'clock on Sunday night, it's my opinion that you should also be reviewing your schedule or your blocks the night before, every night, the night before you go to bed. Take a look at your schedule, just so, again, you're preparing yourself for what you're going to do the next day. And thank you guys for hanging on there. I'm going to get into the meat of the actual schedule in just a second. But yeah, so every single night, 9, 10 o'clock at night, take a glance at your schedule. If you had any gaps in your schedule, I did a scope about that earlier this week. It's okay to have gaps in your blocks. But yeah, the night before, double check it. Also, first of the month eve. So if it's a new month is about to start, so for example, October 31st, you want to go and look at your blocks because, you know, we should be scheduling, you know, months out, weeks out, well in advance. So before the month starts, you want to look at your calendar and look at what you got going on there. Also, New Year's Eve, quarters eve. So if you follow your business based on the quarter, double check. We're in the last quarter of the year. Yeah, fourth quarter. So you want to double check everything, make sure your numbers are there, make sure all of, you know, just take a look at everything for the next 3 months. And then, like I said, every night between 9 and 10 o'clock or before bedtime. So now we are about to get into, and I may pull something up on my computer, we're about to get into the actual meat of creating your schedule, and this is where it gets a little specific for real estate agents. Thank you so much for double tapping the screen. Invite your followers. I'm about to pull up some scheduling stuff here. I use a paper calendar, but I know a lot of people do not do that. But I do like to have it pulled up. So if you're just joining, my name is Tori Easterling. I'm a licensed real estate broker. Give me some paper. Oh yeah, I love my paper calendar. I just can't get with the computers with the calendar. I have to see, touch, and feel. If I don't see, touch, and feel, then it's not a real thing to me. Yep, when you write it down, it is real. So I'm going to see. All right. Yep. So what's today? Okay. So this is, okay. So where do you do your schedule? So for me, I use a paper schedule. If this is not your first time here, this is not your first time seeing my time block schedule, don't be freaked out. It's paper, it's colorful. Actually, let me do the mock schedule. Y'all don't want to see my schedule, right? Let me do my webinar mock-up schedule here. So this is what the actual schedule looks like. So I use color codes for my calendar. I recommend you do the same thing as well if you can see that. So for the purple, I've got personal. Green, my favorite color, is income producing activities. Whatever your business is, in real estate we call it lead generation. It's not posting on social media, so to speak, unless your post directly causes sales. So like if you're in the six-figure army, when CC posts, she makes money, so that's income producing activity for her. But for someone like me, I'm not, I'm a full-time real estate agent, so if I post something, it's not necessarily at this point for my page, for my personal page, it's not going to cause my client to like check out. There's no checkout line for a house. So that's just, calls, door knocking, is contacting new people. Some people get lead generation confused with not prospecting, with just passive advertising, like just putting stuff out there in the universe. No, lead generation is where you're actually calling, you're looking for new business and you're making contacts with individuals or groups in such a way that they're corresponding back to you. That's what it means to me. Yeah, no busy work. So anyway, so that's that. For me, busy work is orange. Busy work is orange for me. That's projects. So these are things that need to be done. Like I've got a lot of orange on my calendar for this week. Those are things that need to be done. Projects, updating your website, designing flyers if you do that on your own. Those are projects. That's not income producing. It may produce income. It may not. I use yellow for, and you don't have to use these colors. These are just my colors. The only color that I recommend you keep as is green, because that lets you know money. Yeah, yellow I use for drive time and follow-up time. I do both because when you're driving, you should not just be sitting in the car. Either you need to have an ebook going, so you're feeding your brain something positive, or you need to be using that time to follow up with people. I don't necessarily recommend lead generation in the car because, got it? You want to take a screenshot of that. I do not recommend lead generation in the car because if you're like me, it sucks to forget stuff. And if I'm in the car, I can't write it down. I can't put it in my CRM. I can't do anything with it in too much detail. So if I tell someone I'm going to call them back, if I tell someone I'm going to send them something, I can forget that by the time I get from point A to point B, and now I'm looking bad, and my time block has not helped me the least bit. So I do follow-up calls during the time that I'm in the car because those don't count as lead generation. Those are clients that you're already working with, and so I use yellow for I call it fire time. It's putting out fires. That's what we do in real estate. Blue, I use that for training and education. And so again, if you want to get a screenshot of that, you can do that, but that's my color code. So you're either going to use a paper calendar. You do? Huh? Oh, from Toronto. Awesome. Awesome. That's amazing. Yes, I use the Passion Planner. My productivity coach put me on to the Passion Planner maybe 2 years ago. I think I'm on my third one. I'll be on my third one in 2017. But I love the Passion Planner. I love that it goes from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. A lot of planners, they start at like 7 and end at 6 and 7 at night. Like people, real estate agents, we work longer hours than that. So I love that. I love that I've got enough space. I love the quotes. And don't laugh at my schedule. I'm going to put up my actual schedule. It's the best. Highly recommend it. Go ahead and order. So this is my current week. I'm 24 weeks pregnant. So, and I'm normal people. Yeah, we do. Hi, D and J. Thanks so much for joining. So this is my actual schedule. Yes. So when you're looking at your schedule, you can visually see what everything is. So I know this week I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm high risk. I'm technically on bed rest. So I've got like a nurse coming in the morning to give me shots and all that stuff. And then I've got to go. I've got stuff to do. Yeah, Carlotta, I'm knocked up. So yeah. So this is my actual schedule for this week. I don't know what my point was in showing y'all, but this is where you do it. So just to show you, if I can show you this. So if you're using and I actually do use my calendar sometime. So I've got everything set up. This is Google Calendar. So as you can see, congratulations. Let's get her done. Let's make these little people we're making. So, yeah, so even in my Google Calendar, I have my categories here. So it's yellow here, it's blue there, and I've been doing this for several years. Buyer's appointments, income producing activity, listing appointments, marketing projects. Purple is personal family. So it's here as well. And so when I'm not pregnant, that's what I do. Before I got knocked up, I would get up at 5 a.m. and do my morning rituals, which if you got questions about that, I can go into that. But this is how you would do it on your Google Calendar. And basically, you just go in. So for real estate agents, you would just go in, you would do income producing, you would do lead generation. Let's see. Can you all see that? Lead generation. We're going to click repeat. we're going to do this and this, I do like the Google Calendar because you can do it like how many days a week you want to do it. The repeat function is very good. So you want to repeat that Monday through Friday, done. It's not an all-day event, so we're going to do from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, your lead generation, if you are a full-time agent, let me see if this worked. All right, so there we go. So that is pretty much the exact same thing that I have on my paper calendar. And this is the meat of what a real estate agent schedule should. Okay? So now let's talk about, let me find it. What did I do with it? Hold on. I lost the paper version. All right, well, I lost my paper version just like, oh, there it is, sitting right here. But let's see. Give me a second. But this is what my calendar looked like before I was pregnant. So I found the paper copy. So now we're going to get into the real estate portion of this. So again, I'm talking about the lead generations. Hi, Chico's Buyer. Thanks for joining. If you're just now joining, I'm Real Estate Tori, hashtag Real Estate Tori, T-O-R-I. We're talking about time blocking for self-employed, and oh, I just got an email about the time blocking class that I'm teaching. But yeah, we're talking about time blocking for self-employed people, particularly real estate professionals. So, lead generation. So this is where the stress-free part comes in. When you are out on an appointment and a customer or a family member or your husband or your wife or whoever asks what you're doing, if you already have this done on Sunday night or the first of the month or whatever, when someone asks you your availability, when you go to your schedule, you're going to literally, quite literally, pull your schedule out and say, okay, Monday at 2, lunch. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I want you all to get in the habit of either carrying your calendar around, or when people ask you, if you have it on your phone, if you're using the digital version, you want to pull up the calendar in front of people. And this is where the Keller Williams isms is going to start. So one of the bold laws is you teach people how to treat you. So what you're going to do, you're going to start carrying your calendar around. It's like your Bible. You can't move without it. You're going to carry it around in a physical version, or you're going to have it on your phone. When someone asks you if you can go to lunch, literally go into your phone and look at it. Try to have it so that they can actually see your schedule. So just imagine me on an appointment with a buyer or a seller, and they're asking what day they can get their property put on the market. Okay? I'm going to pull this out. No, they're not going to be reading it, but they're going to see that Tori's busy. She's busy. I'm not making this stuff up. Can I have an open house this Saturday? No, my birthday was this weekend and my son's birthday was today, so I didn't get to celebrate my birthday. So my husband is celebrating my birthday or doing something for me next weekend. So if anyone asks if they can do anything with me on Saturday, the answer is no, and you want to pull out your schedule. And people, when they see it, especially with all of the colors, number one, they're like, okay, what is that? But after a while, you're teaching people how to treat you. You're training them on this idea that you have a schedule and you have a life in this real estate business, and they're not your only client. They're not your only client. And this goes for any of your clients, your friends, your family, whatever. How it works with family is, when family, same thing. Family wants to do something, your children want to do something, have them go get your calendar and actually look at the calendar. So this for me has made my life stressful. So when I tell someone after they've been around me and they've seen my schedule, when I tell them that I can't make it to an event or that I can't make it at a certain time and that we need to do it at an alternative time, they do not they don't flinch. They respect the schedule. And that's the part about, if you said yes to feeling guilty for declining appointments, this takes all of the guilt out there. And even though your lead generation time is not necessarily with a client, it's your time that you make your living. So for other realtors, we love to hang together as real estate agents. We spend so much time together. We go to lunch together. We hang out at the office together. If you're at Keller Williams, we're all nice and we love to just be together and having our jolly Keller Williams Kool-Aid. Well, not all agents time block. Most agents do not lead generate, and so even with them, I'm lead generating during this time. If I'm not, yes, it does. Hey, yeah, my girlfriend, I was at the Buckhead office last week. So protect your time, especially your green time. If you've got a schedule that looks like this consistently, where there's just a block here of lead generation between all of my doctor's appointments this week, that's what all the purple is. It's family, it's personal stuff. Do you use Passion Planner, or what plan do you use? And I love that you're doing this. Thank you. Hey, is that Marjorie? Yes, if that's Marjorie, it doesn't matter if that's Marjorie or not. Hey girl, hey, if it is, hey girl, hey. Marjorie's a fellow Keller Williams agent. So yes, I do use the Passion Planner. And if I want my phone to alert me to do something, I use my digital calendar. If I need a reminder in the phone, or when you put things into your Google calendar, it tells you, hi, how are you, Events by DJ Thompson. If you put it in your digital calendar, what I do like is that it tells you what time you need to, it tells you what time you need to leave to get to your destination on time. Does anyone do that? So if I know that I've got a doctor's appointment, I will put that in the, thank you so much for sharing on Facebook. Yeah, so I put it in my Google Calendar if I know that traffic may be an issue. So yeah, it says you need to leave now if you want to make it on time, and I do love that feature. Thanks so much for the hearts. So I got a question today. That I want to answer before I forget. So the question was, well, the first question was, do I handwrite my personal notes? So if you're in real estate, no matter your business, you should be writing personal notes to people, letting them know that you appreciate their business. Or I just thank people pretty much for everything when I talk to them when I'm lead generating. So the question was, I've got my lead generation block, my green lead generation block blocked out for 2 hours, but I don't have time to write my thank you notes. So one thing that you need to know about lead generation, especially if you're with Keller Williams or if you're a realtor. Keller Williams, I think the Millionaire Real Estate Agent has 3 hours a day blocked out, but that's my base, 3 hours. When you have a 3-hour block for lead generating and generating business for yourself, that does not mean that you're calling the entire time. That's great if you are, but not so great if you're not able to follow up on those things. So if you don't have time if you've got just 2 hours, if that's all you've got, I would say if you can find another hour, that would be perfect. Because part of that time should be spent preparing a little bit who you're going to call, getting together what you're going to talk about, or your scripts or whatever. Then you're going to do a solid hour of nothing but calls. But when you're making these calls, you're asking for business, who looking to buy or sell. They're going to give you a name. And if you do not write your thank you notes in that moment, it's not going to get done. It's just not. So for the question that was asked, okay, do I shorten my lead generation time? yeah, you shorten your lead generation time. It's the purpose of time blocking is to make your schedule or your thank you. Yeah, it's a good tip. So the purpose of time blocking is to make your life easier, stress-free, guilt-free. If you're not able to do your job, basically, then that schedule is not working for you. And for us, real estate agents, we write thank you notes. You know, if you're doing them, I do personal handwritten notes. I keep my little box here. I love buying thank you notes. Some people probably have gotten some from me, but I keep them right here at my desk. So as soon as I make my phone calls, my personal note is going out at that moment, because if I forget, you just don't want a backlog of personal notes, and you don't want to make a habit of not sending your personal notes. Do you schedule a time to prepare for listing appointments? And those cards are cute. These cards I got from Walmart. What I do, Marjorie, is I love, right, social work is the same. Yep. I just go into anywhere and I just pick up cards. If they're on clearance, I just buy cards. I pretty much only buy when they're on clearance. Thank you so much, DJ. So yeah, so I get them from Target, from Walmart, usually on sale unless they are really, really, really cute. They're just thank you cards. People don't know that they're on clearance. But do I block out time for listing appointments? Yes. So yes, you want to block out time for listing appointments. So a listing appointment, for those not in real estate, is where you go on an appointment with a buyer. I would say a buyer or a seller. When are you blocking that time out? Marjorie, I would use that as orange time. The orange, I use orange for projects. So really, you should have, yes. So really, Marjorie, you should have your presentation done. Like you should already have your buyer presentation and your listing presentation. The only thing you should have to do in preparation for a listing appointment is to pull comparable sales if you do a one-step listing appointment. And with your buyers, I'm trying to think, I don't do anything extra for my buyers. There's usually no prep time. I got it. It's a passion planner. I got it from passionplanner.com. The 2017 versions are up, and I think they're not pre-selling. I think they're actually just selling them now to be shipped out now. And then they do have an undated version if you wanted to go ahead and get it. They also have the free downloads on the website. So if you wanted to print out the calendar, you can. I personally like the dates. I don't want to have to fill in the dates for myself. So yeah, you can download these if you want to wait until 2017 and just do print this out once a week. You can do that, or you can go ahead and order passionplanner.com. Exactly. Yeah, and it's really cool. And do you all mind if I tell you about my planner? So I've got it in this leather case here, but it does not come with that. This is what it actually looks like. And I've got Passion Planner up here. So it's an amazing planner. It's got, and I'm going to enjoy going through this section here, because at the beginning it's got you writing down your short-term goals, your long-term goals. It's got directions on how to use the planner in here. There's a lot more than a planner. You've got your monthly view, and then you've got your weekly view. But at the beginning of every week, let me see, at the beginning of every week, they have like this week's focus. They have good things that happen, and then they have space up here for your daily focus. This is another thing that most planners do not have. They do not have the personal and the work to-do list. Oh, look at all that green. I was doing it in February. I took bold in February. It was amazing. Anyways, I get excited when I see green. But yeah, they have a personal to-do list as well as a work to-do list. So most planners, some of them now, planners are getting pretty good. Yes, some of them are getting pretty good with having work and personal, but they're not all the way there yet. So I love that this calendar accounts for your personal life, because otherwise, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist, and then you have no work-life balance. Recently got my planner. Is pretty awesome. How are the daily appointments? So what I was mentioning in the beginning of the scope is that my definition of a block is a minimum of 30 minutes. For appointments, for showings and buyer appointments, for a buyer appointment, I block out 1 hour. That's when they come into the office for a consult. So what I do, and not all agents do this, if you call me today and say, hey, Tori, I want to buy a house, I don't jump in my car. I don't care if you have a pre-approval letter. I make you come into my office to meet me. So I set aside an hour for you to come to my office. If I'm going to spend time in the office meeting and you're going to come into the office meeting, we both know that we're serious about working together. So I block out an hour of time for a buyer consultation in the office. For a showing, I block out 2 to 3 hours depending on how much property we're going to be seeing. I do have a small team. There are 3 of us, and I don't do the buyers. So everybody knows that I don't do the showings. I have other agents who do the showings for me, but those are blocked out. If I do have to go out, which I do have to sometimes, I block those out in 2 and 3 hour blocks. So you would need to judge that on how long you, how many properties you're showing, like over what geographic area you can block that out. Going back to the other question about blocking out time for appointments, for buyer's appointments, you should already have your buyer presentation ready to go. So there shouldn't be any preparation for that. With listing appointments, the only thing that you should have to do is pull comparable sales in the area, and you should otherwise have your listing presentation done. And so that should take you no longer than an hour to pull comps and do a market analysis. And I would put that in orange because that's not technically income producing. So for me, I do, but it goes in orange. I don't do commercial. I don't. I do believe in sticking to what you know, and I don't know commercial real estate at all. And so I've been doing residential for 10.5 years. I can't honestly say that outside of money that I'm at all interested in commercial real estate. I'm just not. So I do have people every now and then ask about commercial real estate. I refer it out because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm doing the client a disservice if I'm out here trying to learn, unless they give me permission to learn, with their money. I don't want to do that. I want to be seen as the expert, and I'm not a commercial expert. There are some people who do it, but I refer it out. I do commercial with a commercial agent. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, I stick to what I know, and I'm just not into buildings and stuff, although the checks would be very, very good. Yeah, that would be good. So let me talk about something else while I'm here. So this is from February, but someone asked me last week, well, what happens if my child gets sick, or if I get sick, or if something happens and I've got this big block on my schedule? I don't know who asked me that, but someone asked me that. So I was watching the Six Figure Chicks scope today, and she was talking about no excuses, and about how she started her business when she was on chemo, had cancer. And I'm another one. I don't do excuses. I was a single mother of 3. I'm now married. I'm expecting my 4th child, but I tell people, oh, I got married at 18. No, I was a teen mom, and I had to get married. So I started out, and then of course that didn't work out. So I had 3 kids and was doing the single mom thing. So I get it, life happens, but I'm not into excuses. But if life does happen and Yeah, there's ways to adjust. So just straight up, I got white out. I've got white out. So yeah, white out. So if it's something didn't get done, I white it out and put what goes there. Or I will show you, sorry, I will show you another thing that I do if my schedule gets funky. So let's see. All right, so I hope you guys can see this right here on last week Thursday. So you see that up there? If I've got a block on something and it didn't get done, I just put an X. I didn't do that. If I don't replace it with anything, it's just an X. I just didn't get it done. If I need to replace something, then I white it out and put what belongs there. I don't try to put highlighter over highlighter. It's not that serious. Usually if a change comes up, it comes up last minute, so you don't have time necessarily to go back in and change it. So yeah, so I think I covered lead generation. Protect your time. Make sure that you carry your schedule with your blocks on it and that people see this. The great thing about time blocking, not the great thing about time blocking, is this is what you have to do when you're time blocking. When you have a block of time, this is for lead gen, this is for project. You do not do a project during your lead generation time. So the guilt gets taken away from that, and that during this specific time, you're not doing anything else. You're not taking phone calls. You're not making follow-up phone calls. You're not answering text messages that are not, I started time blocking, it's been at least 5 or 6 years, but no, I didn't. And so, Carlotta, I didn't time block, and so I would go in with a list or with a schedule. I used to do to-do lists, so we'll have a list and it would have a whole lot of things, and I would check it off. Well, just at the end of the day, the things that did not get checked off, I felt horrible about, and sometimes they were very important things, and I didn't have them prioritized. I just had a list, I had a list. So that just wasn't working for me. So I started time blocking. One of my coaches got me to time blocking on a paper planner. So, and it wasn't Passion Planner back then. It was just some printouts that she gave me. So again, during lead gen, you're not doing anything else. I don't care if it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a money call, if it's $1 million call, if it's $1 million call, I might answer. But no, seriously, you don't answer the phone during your lead generation time unless it's someone that you just called and they're returning your phone call right back. That's the only way time blocking is going to that's the only way that time blocking is going to work. Same thing with closings. So if you've ever taken Bold, you know about this. So yeah, you can't. You have to. The only way that this works is if whatever you have dedicated for a certain period of time, as long as you do just that, if an important call comes in, no, nothing is more, especially with lead gen, nothing is more important than your lead generation. If it's a current client, you've already earned their business and they will be okay. Also, if they've seen your schedule, then they will know that you have other clients outside of them. They will know that you have a schedule. And so with your lead generation, you have to protect it you have to protect it because that's your money. If you're not generating leads, then you're not really in the real estate business, and you can only survive on that for so long. That's why when the market crashed, so many agents had to go back to their day jobs because they don't understand this concept, and they allow other things because in real estate we put out fires. Oh, the appraisal didn't come in right. Oh, the closing got pushed back, or all of these fires come up during our day, and we put off this in order to take care of those things. That money is technically already made. And so I would recommend, if you have fires that come up, you've got to put that yellow time, you've got to put that in there for your follow-up. So if you miss a call, so for example, real life, for me, and this is where, again, the guilt-free comes in. So real life, this is my schedule this week, this Thursday. I don't know if you can see this. So on Thursday, I've got to do business visioning. Blue is education. I'm taking a class during the time that I normally time block. It's during my lead gen time, but it's a class, and education is important, right? So, okay, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to lead generate because I got to eat. I'm pregnant, I got to eat. So you've got to block out your lunch. If you're not blocking out lunch, it's a problem. You've got to block out time for yourself. And then I'm in Atlanta, so I try to get out of a certain area by a certain time. I got to drive. And then a big thing for me, it's orange, but the Millionaire Real Estate Agent has in there how many contacts you need in your database to make $1 million. So this is my 2017 vision board, and I need to make $1 million. That was my goal this year. I'm nowhere near there. I'm closer to 100,000 than $1 million. But I need to get, let's see, I need to get 1,280 contacts in my database. So that's, even though it's orange, it's a priority. And my point was, I've got my follow-up calls and emails down here. So if I miss a call between my maternal fetal specialist appointment, between the business visioning, if I miss a call, it's okay, and you don't have to stress because you have that time written into your schedule. So those people won't be forgotten. And I think that that's the important thing, especially with follow-up, because with real estate, we feel like we have to just jump when people say jump, and we are afraid that we're going to miss someone. If you block out the time, here we are again tomorrow. I've got doctor's appointments, but after the doctor's appointment, if I've been in a doctor's appointment all morning, I'm not going to be able to leave the doctor's appointment and lead generate. Chances are during that time, I will have missed some phone calls. So instead of scheduling myself for lead generation, which is very important, I do have to follow up with my clients. I also know that I do my listing calls and my client calls on Monday. So I know that I've got appointments. We can't answer every call. But if you got that time set aside, that entire block of time set aside, you know that during this time, I'm going to check my email, I'm going to check my text message, and text messages are dangerous because they pop up, and our natural instinct is to respond. Don't respond to those text messages when they pop up, because you, again, just like lead generating in the car, you forget that text came up, and before you know it, it's gone and gotten pushed down, and you never get back to your client, and you don't remember until 10 o'clock at night. So they're not going to be forgotten. You can go about your day stress-free, missing all those calls, if you got it blocked out and saying here that you're going to call those people back. You know what? The client fired you. You know, oh well. All money's not good money. I found myself in my closet at like 2 o'clock in the morning answering the phone for a client who had screwed some stuff up themselves. Like, at some point, you just have to say, I'm sorry. I'm spending time with my family. You teach people how to treat you. Keep it moving. You don't respond. If a customer texts you at 10 o'clock at night and you respond, you have trained that customer that it's okay to text you at 10 o'clock at night. So if you set that expectation, when you don't answer their text at 10 or 11 or 12 or 1 a.m. or whatever, and they may see you online, or they can see your Apple phone, they can see that you were starting to respond. If you started, then they they expect it. And then in that case, you are in the wrong. If you set up the expectation that you're going to answer your phone every single time that they call, the moment you stop, you're in the wrong because you've set that expectation. So don't set that expectation, and they'll get used to it. What they will also get used to is they know Tori's going to call them back. They know that they've seen my schedule. They know they're not going to be forgotten. So they can leave a message or a text, and they're not stressed out, and I'm not stressed out. So yeah, if you got a client who doesn't understand business and doesn't understand that they're not your only client, then that, you know, we can fire clients. I fire clients, not all the time, but sometimes it's necessary. What else? I want to point out a couple more things here. Up here, I've talked about this before. Up in the blue is morning rituals. In the morning, you need to be, if you've gotten off track, you need to get back in the habit of doing your morning rituals. That's your journaling, that's your meditation, that's your prayer. You need to block out that time. Also at the bottom, you see a lot of purple at the bottom of my schedule. For those who are married or have children, you need to put your personal family time on your schedule. I've stressed this before. I'm going to stress it again. You have to put your personal time on your calendar. You have to block it out, because if it's not there, it doesn't exist, and your family and loved ones get neglected. So here tomorrow, starting at 7:30, I've got bedtime rituals with Nick. That's bath, that's reading, that's just spending time with my son before I put him to bed. He turned 5 today. And then after I get Nicholas squared away, then I got to get my husband taken care of. And I've got that on here as well. So before I scheduled a 10 o'clock scope, I asked my husband, what time can I scope this week? He said you can scope at 10 o'clock because he's not a late person, a night owl. So his brain is not working during that time. So he's got that it's okay. So make sure that you're including your family on your schedule. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything on that. So where do you keep your planner? Google Calendar, your CRM, or a paper calendar. And again, it makes everything guilt-free. The key to this whole thing working, blocking out sets of time for individual tasks, or sets of tasks, not individual appointments. Again, you're not going to put call John at 10, call Mary. You're going to block out an entire block for returning phone calls. Got to make that critically clear. You're going to block out a time to be in a class. You're not going to write the agenda for the class here, 9 o'clock reception, 9:45, we're going to talk about listings. You're not going to make it that detailed. No, returning the phone calls are not green. Returning the phone calls is what I call fire time. It's putting out fires. Usually in real estate, it's something crazy going on. But no, I use yellow for returning phone calls, because if I've called you and you're returning my phone call, I've already done that during my lead generation time. I don't get double credit for calling you back. I've already made the contact. So from the time I reach out to you initially, anything after that goes into yellow or orange or any color but green. It's not green unless I'm making a new contact. So I'm stressing it one more time. Do not do this only works if you do not do anything else during your block. So Tuesday, after I come from court, I'm going to the Douglasville office and I'm entering contacts. I didn't say enter 50 contacts. I didn't say enter 20 contacts. I just said enter contacts. That entire time, that's all I'm doing, unless CC Scope comes on. That's all I'm doing during that time. I'm not going to stress myself. Okay, I'm not going to stress myself about I didn't make any calls today, because this right here is going to help me get to my $1 million. If you're letting things come into these blocks, then it's not going to work at all. It's pointless. So got it? So I did me a little, I'm getting ready to wrap up. But I created a little sign. So basically, you're going to create your schedule. Can you all see that? Looks like something's on the screen. You're going to create your schedule. You're going to schedule everything that you can think of. Oh yes, ma'am. Let's get to these $1 million, girl. It's time to plan. You gotta we'll talk. We gotta get together. We always say we're going to, but we never do. But we gotta do it. We gotta put it on the schedule. We gotta block out some time. So you're going to create your schedule. Schedule everything that you think of in a block, not necessarily a list, in a block of time. So block out lead generation, block out projects. Update the website, that goes in a block. Make sure that your blocks are at least 30 minutes. That is the minimum that you can do. There is no maximum on a block. So make sure that you do a minimum of 30 minutes. I recommend doing an hour for anything because you need that full hour to really get into what you're doing. Then after that, you're going to make sure that you're sharing your schedule with everyone around you, your friends, your family, your co-workers, other agents, your co-oping agents. You're going to share your schedule, and you're not going to show it to them and make them read it, but when they ask you for an appointment, you're going to open up your schedule or open up your phone and physically make sure that they get a glimpse of it. They're usually going to be very impressed. And then lastly, after doing all that, you get to connect with people. You get to enjoy the freedom of having your life in order. And that is what the entirety of this scope has been about. And that is all I have today, unless you all have questions. Let's see. So email inquiries, if you want to email me, you can email me at admin@7figuresinrealestate.com. Thank you so much, Bama Peach, for tuning in. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me at the email address there. Thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you so much, Carlotta, for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No problem. What else? Real estate. Oh, Instagram. If you don't follow me already on Instagram, I'm at Seven Figure Realtor. No, I'm not. I'm at 7 Figures in Real Estate on Instagram. I do, if you look up the hashtag Real Estate Tori, you'll get both of my Instagram pages. The Real Estate Tori page is for mostly family and friends and clients, and then the 7 Figures in Real Estate, that's a new page that I created, just a space for me to help other agents. And I think that's it. And I'm gonna let this stay up for a few more seconds just so that when Periscope gets my screenshot for the scope, Cece said the last 15 minutes they do the screenshot then. Perfect. Thank you so much, Bama Peach. I'll be looking out for you, and follow on here. And I've got some other good stuff coming. Y'all have a good night.